What's up, everybody? We're back.
Episode number 3.
Yes. So, Steve, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm curious how our conversation is going to go today.
Today, I think we're going to talk a bit about the local scene, the local spots.
The local spots.
Yeah, Portage la Prairie, Ploptown spots. Yeah.
Yeah. Might not be as interesting for people that aren't from here, but I think for our listeners that either came from here or still live here, hopefully this will be interesting, and we'll try to make it interesting enough that other listeners can at least enjoy hearing us talk about spots, I guess.
Yeah, relate a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of a cool thing when someone's talking about that and you're like, oh, I know that spot. And
right.
Memories come back and whatnot.
Right.
So I guess to start it off, what would be your favorite spot?
Oh, man. Favorite spot. So all-time favorite spot, I'd have to go back to the classic platform. I think anybody who lived in the era where we had the platform would say that that's the spot. Current spots, I would have to say that my favorite it would be MNP. Even though I haven't been there a whole lot, it's one of those things where it's hard because as a skater, a spot like that is one that needs to be used. It's but then the other side of it is just the idea that being a part of the greater community and just expectations, especially on somebody like myself who has certain positions in the community, and then to be going and hitting the spot where they have yelled at us and told us to get lost.
Yeah.
And even came and visited me at work to tell me that I should not be going there, and it doesn't look good if I bring kids there.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I had one of the partners come and actually chew me out in front of some young skate kids, telling me how horrible it was that I skated there with kids.
Wow.
And when it was clearly posted that we shouldn't be there. So it's hard because you want to respect the community, businesses in the community, because they support us as an organization. But there's also the skater side that
they got such a nice spot. So
I know they built it for us. So it'd be a shame not to use it. So it's just really hard to balance those, I think, and I imagine other people can relate to that. When you're young, it's whatever, right? Like, we're skaters, we're just going to do what we're going to do, and we'll do it till we get kicked out, and then we'll come back later. It's a little harder when you have certain roles in the community and certain expectations.
Yeah.
It's hard to wear both hats.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But it's one of those spots that it's easy enough for like most skaters, but then it's also like pretty fun. They got some like manual options, like a little 3-stair, and
and then exactly.
And then it hasn't been waxed in a long time, but along the sidewalk is a pretty good ledge, right?
Right. Yeah.
So it's like perfect for skating, but I think it's probably the number one spot in town that you'll get kicked out of the fastest.
For sure it is. Yeah. And it's also the number one spot, in my opinion, that as far as a skate spot in town, that's the one, right? And yet you get kicked out the quickest. When I got yelled at, I told them that they needed to help us build a skate park then. Since they built one for us and they don't let us skate there, I told them that they need to help us build one, which they suggested that they would give us $1,000 towards a skate park, which
isn't a lot.
Yeah, I told him, I said, that won't take us very far to build a skate park, but but I'm holding you to it, MNP.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, MNP. I think my favorite spot would probably be MNP, but I remember when I first started skating, and it was like just learning to get onto ledges and off of ledges kind of thing, like just ollie on and drop off or do something off or whatever. I would spend a lot of time at the library.
Oh yeah,
which is kind of like it's a decent like manual pad, I guess. Which
yeah,
it,
for
like
sure it is,
in Portage, a lot of our spots are manual pads, but like that's where I spent most of my time.
Yeah, I think a lot of us have spent a lot of time there. I have been kicked out of there too. Although it's not very often you get kicked out of there.
Yeah, I know the people that own it. Well, that don't own it, but they are like managers or something there.
Okay.
And they've came out before, heard the skateboards came out, and they're like, "Oh, how's it going? Keep skating," kind of thing.
Nice.
So I think it might be because I had a bit of an in that I was fine, but it's a really good place for learning because they have different like heights of curb and stuff.
Yep.
And I like anytime I'm teaching somebody to like ollie onto a curb or drop off of a curb or something, I take them there because you can just you try the different levels as you become more comfortable. You just go higher and higher,
and the nice thing about that spot is you're close to the banked manual pad behind Bill's.
Yes,
which is another nice spot.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a clip there with Ben that I've spent hours on. It's just a manual. I'm just trying to manual, but it's...
The other nice thing is they paved that back alley this last year, so it's makes it nice smooth for landing on before it was a little rough down there.
That road was very rough, and there was like a gap between the road and the curb.
That's right.
And so your wheel, if you're going too slow, your wheel would catch. Yeah. And it's a very disappointing thing once you get the manual and then catch right at the end. It's very disappointing.
Just going back to the platform, that spot, like, I think one of the things that I saw skated the most at the platform was the fire pit. It was like like the cement pad was really big, and kind of right in the middle there was I think it's like it would have been 2 feet by 2 feet square hole in the cement, and guys would light fires in there at night and stuff. And but when guys are skating, it was like a gap that people practice. So that thing got skated a lot there.
Wow. How it was 2 by 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it wasn't really big. So like anybody could ollie it.
Yeah.
And then guys are trying other stuff over there.
Yeah. That's really interesting that something like that is like the hottest thing at the spot, because there's like a lot of different obstacles and drops and whatnot, right? Like there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That
the
was
drop,
there.
because it was 2 levels, the drop was skated quite a bit too. And guys, like there was a place next door that stored railway ties. And so they drag railway ties over there and make a set off of the drop.
Just to have some distance.
Yeah,
kind of thing,
just kind of replicate some steps.
Yeah.
And so that got used a fair bit. The one part on there that I always loved when it got skated, it was too big for me, but when other guys were skating, it was from the lower level to the upper level was a ramp. And I don't know if I can describe it properly, but it's set into the top level. And so from the bottom level, you could drive up. It was... I want to say it's about 7.5 feet wide. And so you could drive from the bottom level to the top, but it was set into the top level. So it wasn't like it jutted out from the top level. It was set in. And so if you went across, you could actually gap that ramp, like go over it. every once in a while, guys would, when we were there, they'd decide like they were going to go a little heavier and hit that gap.
Wow.
And I always enjoyed that. I'd love to hear some feedback of some of the biggest tricks that people had seen at platform from the older guys that would be listening. Comments or DMs on some of the heavier stuff that went down there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Kevin Beauchamp did I think it was a frontside 180 over that.
Oh, okay.
Which was pretty cool.
And if anybody has any clips of it too, we'd love to have those and share them.
Yeah, clips would be awesome. Yeah, that gap, I always enjoyed when guys were skating that, because you knew they were going heavy when they were going to hit that thing, because it was a big enough gap.
That sounds pretty sweet. I every time you tell stories about that spot, I'm like, oh, I wish I wasn't so young. I wish I was there.
Yeah, there's lots of good memories that come out of that spot. Yeah. I remember back in the day, one of the guys, Zev, I don't even remember what his last name is, but he was on, at one point he was on skates.
Okay.
And he came out and he wanted to gap to road there. And anyone who would have been in that time would know that that's a big gap. Like if you look at where the fence is right now for the storage unit,
yep,
it would have been further than that to gap to road.
Really?
Yeah. And man, he would just pump and push and he could gap it. But the problem is you were landing like on the road was kind of sloped towards the curb. And so you're landing kind of on the incline.
Right.
And so he would just crumple every time. Eventually he did do it, but it took a lot of tries.
Wow.
That was fun to watch.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, that was pretty big.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever seen anybody else gap that. I think that's the only time. But maybe somebody did. I'd like to hear about it for sure.
Sweet.
What other spots are you want to talk about? One of the ones that did not get skated a lot, and now it's changed. They did a reno on the building, but that was Portage Mutual. And that, what is that, 6 or a 7?
I think it's a 6.
It's a 6?
Yeah.
And it used to be somewhat of a better run-up for the rail, the handrail on that one. And Kalen Frey's board slid it. That's the only person I know of that hit that rail. I think other guys did the set, but that's the only rail that I know of that was done there. But could be wrong.
Yeah.
You
never know, right?
Stuff I don't know about.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear.
Yeah.
Or see.
Yeah. Now there's not really run up at all there.
Yeah, I don't think it's doable anymore.
Well, actually, I think it was about a year ago. We'll be able to get this clip. Jaden kickflipped it 2 years ago or something.
Okay.
Joel has it on film, I'm pretty sure. So we'll have to talk to him and see if we can get it.
Yeah, doing this, I think the stairs is still doable. I don't think the rail is.
Yeah, well, even the stairs, it's pretty narrow for it, because it's a good size 6. Like, it's not a small 6.
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
No.
So, yeah, no, that I don't remember when it was extended, like when it was longer, but it's because they put in that elevator.
Yeah. They put in an elevator there for access for people in wheelchairs.
Right.
That's when it changed. Yeah. Going back to this idea of how simple the 2x2 gap was at the platform. Mm-hmm. That reminds me of us all those years where we used to skate at PCI for skate night, and there we had in the plaza there was a sidewalk right up against the parking lot.
Yeah.
And there's a very slight slope down from that into the plaza.
Okay.
And guys would come flying through the plaza and gap that sidewalk into the parking lot. And there was sessions that would last for hours on that thing.
Really?
And that's all they were doing, just doing that sidewalk gap to, and then there was a curb there down onto the parking lot, right?
Yeah.
And it was lots of sessions went down on that.
Yeah, I guess in a town like here that doesn't have very like great spots, you're gonna just get creative, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but there was lots of sessions had on that. Also, I'm not sure if you ever saw the fire hydrant that's in the plaza, and there's a bit of a slope up to that.
Yeah, I've wanted to see something over that for the longest time. I'm not capable of it, but I want to see it.
I wonder if we have footage of something. We must have footage of something somewhere on that. We'll have to check with Ben, see if he's seen anything. And while he's getting all the footage off of the mini DV tapes.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there must be footage of that, because that's another one that got hit a bit.
Every time I see that, like, I went to school at PCI.
Yeah.
So walking through the plaza like every day, I'm like, man, like it's not the greatest slope up to it, but it's enough.
No, it is enough.
With someone with enough pop, like
Oh yeah, there was stuff done over that for sure. And then those marble benches.
Yep. Yeah.
When they first put those in, they were up against the asphalt, and so they were very skatable. And then because they were getting skated, they moved them back a little bit so that you'd have to roll on grass to hit them. But yeah, when they first put those in, those got seshed pretty good too.
If you got enough guys, you could probably move them. No,
I'm not sure if they're fastened down or not.
Oh, okay, yeah. What's one spot that's in Portage that you wish you could hit?
Oh, that I wish I could hit. I think probably it's the same for most people from here, and that would be the provincial building rail. Kinked rail.
On the front side or the back side?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's still huge. Yeah. I actually haven't seen the one on the back side, but I heard it's just smaller.
Ben says it's smaller. I'm not sure if I agree with him. It's all big.
Yeah. It's like how big was that? That'd be like a 10 flat 10 or something.
No, not that big.
No,
that would be. It's like a 5 flat 5.
No, the front side. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's 5 flat 5. I think.
Really?
Maybe 6.
Yeah, maybe we'll come back next episode and clarify. Yeah, I drive past it every day, but I've never counted it.
It's definitely not 10.
Yeah, it's huge though.
It's probably 10 total, but yeah, it's big, and that rail is it's scary. I don't know if I've even seen anybody attempt it. I think it's doable. I do know that Ryan got pretty banged up on that trying it with a snowboard.
Oh, I heard about this. Yeah.
I think that was back when the rail was wood.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's metal now.
And now they've switched it to metal. So now it's like, even back then when it was wood, everybody talked about wanting to hit it.
Yeah.
Now it's definitely more doable because it's metal, but it's still pretty heavy.
Yeah. Well, it's like one of the only big sets that if someone good enough came here would be able to hit it.
Right.
Because there's places that have big stairs, but there's no run up or anything. But this would be like the one.
It's definitely doable. Just nobody local has done it yet.
No, not really.
And I would love to see it. I think if somebody did, they would definitely have some real. What's the word I'm looking for?
respect.
Respect, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, they would have notoriety. That's the word I'm looking for, notoriety. Because, yeah, everyone talks about it. Nobody hits it.
No, yeah.
I ain't hitting it.
Me neither.
How about you? What would be a spot for you?
That's a really tough one. Because, like, I guess a lot of the spots that I know of, like a lot of the spots around here are pretty small. So I've like done stuff on them.
Yeah.
I know you've talked about this. I don't know if I'd actually want to do anything on this one, but because I can't come up with an answer, this one has like it's on the post office. It's either a bank or a post office. I think it's the post office. Has this like marble,
the marble ledge.
the
Yeah,
marble,
that's at the post office.
Yeah, it's like a marble slab that comes out a little bit, and then there's stairs right beside it. And you could like, if you waxed it enough, you could like ride onto it, or
Right.
You might have to ollie. Onto it. I think
you could ride onto it. I don't think
you'd want to.
Yeah, I don't think that'd be. I don't think that would look great just to ride onto it.
Yeah.
And it's definitely too high to pop onto from the ground. Like you have to go from the top of the stairs for sure.
Yeah. I would probably go there.
Hmm.
Yeah. Or maybe the pea plant rail, but I feel like that's a lot more doable for me.
Yeah, the pea plant rail is really low.
Yeah.
It's just long and pretty, like you get moving pretty good on it.
Yeah. And there's a big drop on the side, which is kind of scary.
Yeah, for you especially because if you're goofy, you got to go on the other side.
The regular side has like a grass slope or something.
There's grass on the side. Yeah, it's not quite as scary.
Yeah.
So, you just have to do it front side.
I'll have to learn front side first, but
yeah, that's a cool spot too. That it's funny because that's one of those spots where I had no idea. Like Ben was talking about it in the summer, and I had no idea where he was talking about. We went there, and I'm like, how in the world did I not know about this spot?
Yeah,
why did a scooter have to show me the spot?
Yeah,
it's almost embarrassing.
Yeah, he showed me a couple weeks before he told you, and when you were like, "What? There's a spot there," and I was like, well, I thought Steve would just know that.
Yeah,
I just thought you would have,
Yeah, it's funny that I didn't know about that spot at all.
Yeah.
Speaking of funny, I don't know if it is or not, but when we were talking about spots yesterday, I had to admit that I had never gone to the Husky spot.
Yeah.
Every skater in this town has skated that spot but me.
Yeah, Husky. Everybody talks about Husky.
Yeah, everyone's got clips there. I have never even skated there. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't even really get stuff filmed, but I think I got my first ollie off of the Husky film there. Yeah. Which is like, one of the few clips that I have of me skateboarding.
So yeah, it's funny that like, because everybody skates there, but for whatever reason, whenever I'm in a skate session, it just hasn't come up to even go there. It's so weird.
Yeah, that is weird. Yeah, we had a lot of real good times at Husky. Me and Joel used to skate there a bit. I've been there with like everybody I skate with except for you. And that's like probably one of my bigger slams, I guess you'd call it. I don't know what you'd call it. I one time went off of Husky when I like wasn't super comfortable ollieing off of things, and I'd kind of just like flick my board forward before ollieing. Like I'd go to do the slide, but then just slide my foot completely off and kick it out. And the one time I slid it, but it like didn't come off my foot completely, and I like popsicled, but it was like right on my thigh. I guess. And I yeah, when I when I landed on the board, so my nose, how did this happen? So I think I broke my tail from it hitting the ground. I don't know how I flipped the board that way. Maybe it was my nose, but as soon as I landed on it popsicle, it just
Was that one of your Walmart boards?
No, that was not one of my Walmart boards.
Speaking of popsicling, that is a good segue. I wanted to talk about the DIY spot, which we talked about last week at the old hotel site that burnt down. And so when that place burnt down, they kind of cleaned up the rubble, and then they put a fence around it, and it was kind of forgotten. And then I don't know how long it sat there like that, and then we discovered it. And so right now you see it as just like a dirt or grassy area.
Yeah.
But back then it wasn't. It was a hole.
Right.
So the basement was still there, and then the main floor partially was there. And so the place where we now skate on the cement, that was the main floor that was still intact.
Yeah.
And then where you see the grass was the hole where the basement was. And so I remember going there with the Scam crew back when they were still locals and skating it. We crawled through the fence and we skated it, and those guys were ollieing from the main floor down into the basement, which was awesome. Like that was some pretty cool stuff. You think we'd have footage of it somewhere? I just don't know.
Yeah,
where it would
no
be.
kidding.
I don't remember seeing. So maybe they have it. I'm not sure. But like Joel and Colin, Trevor was there. I think there was a few guys there that were olling into there.
Wow.
And I don't remember who, but somebody popsicled from one floor to the other.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was
So
pretty
like
brutal.
8 feet, would you say?
It must be, yeah.
Yeah.
That was nasty.
Ooh.
Yeah. So speaking of your popsicle, that reminds me of that.
That's like 8 times worse than what I did.
They're still alive to tell about it. So
yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty impressive that those guys hitting that. I was pretty stoked on that.
Yeah. I remember we used to use a few years ago, we used to go to the Great Canadian Oil Change, and we use those banks a bit.
Oh, yeah.
And if you get going fast enough, they're kind of like humped on the side on the hip. It's kind of like a hip, but it's like a hump.
Really
I
mellow.
don't know. Yeah. So you have to get like enough speed to be able to go over it, but it'd be pretty sweet. It's like pretty nice pavement too right now. So they also have like on the sides there's like possible hubbas. I don't really know. It's yeah, there's like these ledges. We've never waxed them up though. I've thought about it. Maybe I think that often, and then I go and look at it and I'm like, oh no, it's not. And then I think about it more and I'm like, oh, I should go check it out. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably just that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of, like, back in the day, we used to spend a lot of time back when PCI got their parking lot repaved. We used to spend a lot of time skating there, lots of manual pads. Back then, they still had the railings. Like, now they have all those posts in the parking lot. Back then, they had, like, actual railings that went across all of them. Yeah. And so some guys were able to like do tricks over that stuff. Yeah, I saw some decent tricks like popping over those rails. And then we had lots of manual sessions in that parking lot for sure. Guys that were in that era will remember those real well.
Yeah. There's still a little bit of options for like manuals and stuff, but there's not a lot at PCI.
Yeah, I still don't mind like that. The manual pad at the west end of the parking lot is where we use the session a lot.
Oh,
you
yeah.
could run it both ways, right?
Yeah.
You could do it the short way and the long way.
Yeah. I think that was one of the first things that I've ever seen skated. Like just for me personally, like ever seen someone out in the wild skateboarding. I saw Joel and one of his buddies.
Oh, okay.
Skating that. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to skate those a lot.
And there's that bank on the side of the school.
Right.
That I wish I could skate that. If that gap wasn't there, there's that big grass gap.
Yeah.
I ollied that once, like coming from the sidewalk up it, but it's kind of weird because you're landing on an incline, right?
Yeah.
And I gapped that once, and then right before it snowed, like recently for some reason, I've kind of like started to understand going on to steeper things like wall rides and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, oh, let's go try this out. But it's not a lot of run up towards it.
No, there
and
isn't.
To get off of it, there's actually quite a bit of a gap.
Yeah.
And your wheel gets caught in that gap.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of like slappy onto it and then ollie off of it.
Yeah.
And I don't feel comfortable ollieing off of a wall. So otherwise, that'd be a pretty sweet spot. But
yeah,
I mean,
could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody just needs to bring a sheet of plywood and put across that gap, maybe. And
Yeah, a little bit of Bondo.
a lot of Bondo.
A lot of bit of Bondo. Yeah, what else is there? There's a lot of like little 2 sets and stuff, but
yeah, some 3 sets.
Yeah.
That one in front of PCI there got used quite a bit.
Yeah.
Now I think they've got those knobby things on the top step for people that have vision issues.
Right.
Right? I think that's on there now. I'm not sure if it's...
That's on the front of the school, of the west west school.
That's the one that we used to hit all the time.
Yeah, so there's still a set on coming from the plaza.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that one doesn't have
it doesn't have it. It has a ramp coming up on it that has it, but the stairs don't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, so that one's still good. Oh, there was something else. Oh, I can't believe we forgot about this spot. At Crescent View.
Right.
The box. Right. Yeah.
The box and the bank.
And the bank. Yeah. I love that bank. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get a clip on there too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking all this hot stuff, but it's also winter and I haven't skated for a bit.
Yeah. Crescent View that's a nice little spot too.
Yeah.
It doesn't get skated as much as it should for how good of a spot it is.
Yeah. And it's like a huge open space too. Yeah. That goes like downhill and it's sweet there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And for some reason we just never go there.
Yeah. I've gone there a little bit, like, yeah. Yeah, in that bank, like, that bank's pretty sweet.
It is.
It's mellow enough that it's not, like, crazy. Yeah. I wish it was a little bit steeper, but not, just because I'm, like, so used to our bank in here.
Right.
But you also have to ollie onto it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, get onto it and get off of it.
Yeah.
Which
is fun because where else do you have that, right?
Yeah. Especially in Portage, yeah.
Since we're talking about that area, the new spot that we hit just before winter with that little set, that's going to be an awesome spot. I'm so glad that they developed that and built that spot.
For us.
Yeah, it'd be nice. It just needs a handrail. I'm friends with the project manager that built it, and I was telling him we sure could use a little handrail on that set.
Yeah, it's like a two flat two, eh?
Yeah. He told me that they had to do it that way, actually, so that they didn't need a handrail with the flat in the middle, they didn't have to put a handrail in.
What?
And so it was cheaper than if they did like a 4 and then had to put a handrail in.
Why does that change it?
Something to do with the building code. I'm not sure. That's just what he said, that by doing 2 flat 2, it was they were able to do it without a rail.
That doesn't make any sense. Because someone that's like has trouble walking, if they're walking up the stairs and like need to hold on to something.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just what he told me.
That's kind of ridiculous.
So
but
it would be nice with a rail there, but it's a nice spot. It's gonna
we can put one.
There's gonna be some nice clips coming out of that spot for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we could put a rail for sure.
We could put one in.
Yeah.
There. Yeah. If you look at the way that they did it on the skate and create meow video.
Yeah.
And just like had a rail with legs and you just stick it in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
We could do that there.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the second time you've mentioned that video. I think that might be Steve's favorite part.
I like that video because it does a lot of DIY stuff in it, and it's creative that way. And so, it gave me lots of ideas of stuff we can do.
Yeah,
DIY. So
I'm just bugging you.
I guess the only other spot that I want to bring up, because it's not much of a spot, and I think it's changed now. I don't think it even works now. But back when they built the new shoppers, and Clint was working there, and on the back alley where they have the loading dock, they actually had a bank up to the loading dock. And so that loading dock was pretty high. It is pretty high. In fact, now, like, they took out the bank, and so I don't know if we have anybody that could ollie onto that. But at the time, it had that little bank, and Clint 50-50'd that loading dock.
Wow.
And that was impressive. Like, just the other day I saw the photo from that. And that was nice.
Wow.
It's too bad we lost the bank there, because that gave you just enough of a kicker to get up onto it. But you could also do like a bank to bank on there, just the way it was set up, like with enough speed in that back alley. It was really nice when they first built it, but
it's not there anymore, eh?
No, they took the bank out. The loading dock is still there, but the bank is gone. So I don't know. Like, you'd need a kicker to get up there now.
Right. Well, I built one, so.
Well, maybe we need to drag it over there sometime. Recreate Clint's trick.
Yeah, got to get Clint out.
Yeah, for sure. But that was the one spot too that is like it wasn't there very long. So I think that's the only clip that happened on that spot before.
What did he do on it?
He did a frontside 50-50.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sick.
Yeah. So maybe we'll have to put that clip in the video.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's our local spots.
Yeah. I'm
sure we're missing some. People can leave comments or message us to tell us what we missed or what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, let us know what your favorite spot is. Ones that you think are sweet that we missed. I think we hit all the good ones though, so I don't think anybody's gonna be too frustrated at us, but
yeah, and if you're not from here and are talking about the spots, makes you want to come out and hit them, hit us up.
Yeah.
We'll take you to the spots and let you see for yourself what we've got here.
Also, wait till there's not snow on the ground so that we could actually...
That would be helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it wouldn't take us that long to see all the spots here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So, yeah. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. We're just going to shout out the Patreon.
Right.
Yeah. So we have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/platformskate.
That's right.
Yeah, there you can support what we're doing. If you like what we're doing, then
Just a comment to that, and we don't want to like push too much of our this kind of stuff on people.
Yeah.
But I will say that when you support the podcast through the Patreon, you are not only supporting the podcast. We don't need tons of support to do this.
Right.
But the great thing is you're actually helping keep the skate park that we have here free for kids to skate.
Yeah.
And so support towards this supports the skate park and helps us to be able to keep kids coming for free.
Yes.
Because that's important to us, that kids don't have to pay to get into the skate park. We don't want anything to take away their opportunity to skate. And so we've been running for quite a few years for free, and the Patreon site definitely helps us be able to do that by so just so you know, if you do decide to do that, you are supporting more than just us talking.
That's true. Yeah, because we can talk for hours for free if you'd like, but
Yeah.
but yeah, supporting our local scene, and yeah. So at this point that we're recording, we have two patrons.
Right.
We have Melissa Moman and Joel Reimer. So thank you.
Thanks,
to
guys.
you too. Yeah. Yeah. So that's episode 3.
In the wraps. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. And we appreciate everyone who takes the time to listen. Please feel free to comment. And again, rate and comment on whatever podcast app you're using. That helps us.
Yep.
And we appreciate it.
Yep.
Appreciate all the feedback.
Thank you. See ya.